Friends, welcome back. In this video, I'd like to go through one machine on the One Hub, which is my file server 1. The link will be added into the description section below. And a variety of techniques will be demonstrated in this video, such as the file server emulation techniques and how to exploit the vulnerability of the configuration, the file server configuration, and also how to use Meterpreter to elevate privilege. So there will be a lot to take. Without further ado, let's just get started. We can switch over to the Kali Linux VM. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target. The utility I'd like to use, as always, would be NetDiscover. So now we can fire up the NetDiscover. And of course, you also can use Nmap or other similar tools. But for me, I prefer to use this NetDiscover if the target machine is on the same network. So now we can press enter. As you can see over here, the IP address of the target could be recognized as 145. And then we can copy this IP address and note it down to our notebook. We can copy and put over here. Of course, the IP address of the Kali Linux would be 102. Next, we need to do the port and surface scanning. To save time of this video, I've already completed before. So for now, we just get out its result. As you can see over here, I use the options like scene scan, the virtual scan, the default script scan, followed by the -P- to do the full range port scan. And the last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Although the IP address has been changed from the first time when I did the machine. So from the Nmap scanning, we can tell that the target has many open port numbers. Let's take a look at one by one. The first one is 21, which is running FTP service and also the version information. And we can copy and we can note down some information. Okay. And also allows anonymous login for this FTP service. So anonymous login allowed. Okay. So next port number is 22. And I don't think we can find any vulnerability for this version of OpenSSH, although this version is a bit old or outdated. And we can copy. Put over here. So next port number is 80, which is running HTTP service, and also the version information, which is Apache 2. And we can also note down such information, HTTP, Apache 2. Okay, so let's move on to the next port number. 111 is a PC bind. In most cases, we do not need to take into consideration. My bad. And the next one is used by the Samba. So we can copy. Normally, the Samba service will use two port numbers. The first one is 139, and the second one is 445. But for this case, just only one. And we can copy. So this should be Samba service. And the next one is, we can copy. This port number is running an NFS service or network file sharing service. And the next one is 21 FTP, but the service is different. And we can copy. We can paste over here. And also, the anonymous login allowed. So we can copy this information but there's some problem when trying to get the directly from the target error. Okay, and the next one is also used by the NFS. Okay, so now how to do? Just I mentioned in the other videos. If you have already followed my channel, I repeated this over and over again. If the target or if the machine has file sharing service or file server running, such a service should become the first choice to emulate. In this case, we need to focus first of all, we need to focus on the 21 and 445 and also this one and also this one, because as the name implies, this machine has a lot to do with the file servers. Okay, and this machine is running several file servers. Okay, so next we can emulate each of the file sharing service, and the first one is 21. So how to make emulate? And I think for the FTP service running, I'd like to make a recap. We can do, of course, now we have already logged in. We have known that we can log in as anonymous user, and so the first thing we can do is to log in to the target and to see whether we can retrieve some files or directories from the target. And the next, also we need to check whether the surface is vulnerable or not. Okay, so the surface is vulnerable or not. And the next, we need to check whether the current user, I mean here should be an anonymous user, can navigate across different directories. Okay, and the next we need to check whether we can have privilege to upload file. Okay, so let me show you in action. Okay, so next we can log in to the target FTP and press enter. The username should be anonymous and the password no, empty, and we can check out one directory. Go to pub and log. I think now we are within the log directory on the target, but maybe it will be very difficult to retrieve information from the log directories. Okay, so next we need to check if we can navigate across different directory. For example, can we navigate to home directory or the OPT? We can't. Fail to change directory. So next we need to check whether we have the current user, I mean anonymous user, can upload file to the target. So now we can go to the pub and we can create the test file. We can echo, for example, like test only. And now we go back and we can put test permission denied. So I think we have already done 1, 3, 4 steps. So next we need to check whether this service is vulnerable or not. And the utility I'd like to use is such as Sprite. Press enter. So no results. So I think we cannot do anything at this moment for this FTP service. Let's move on to the next port number, which is a Samba, and how to emulate the Samba service. So this should be the FTP and also the Samba emulation. And the first we can use the SMB client to see whether we can, whether there's some shares by the target. And next we can, if there is any share by the target, and then we can use the same utility SMB client to access share, okay, on the target. Next, we can use enum for Linux to grab possible user names, okay? So let me show you in action. So how to do? We can launch SMB client with uppercase L and followed by the IP address of the target. And then we can press enter. We can provide the password for my own machine. And it does have some shares by the target. So next we can access these two shares. The first one and the last one are default. We cannot get anything from such default shares, okay? So next, how to do? We can use the same utility followed by the IP address of the target and SMB data and provide the password of my own machine. And it's there. It looks like we are in the same directory log. As you can see over here, it looks very similar to, when we access to the target via FTP. Okay, so I don't think we can get anything from this directory. And also, we need to check whether we can access or we can navigate across different directory like a home. We can't. Okay. Also, I don't think we can upload the file. For example, like a test, a permission. Oh, we can. Great. So I think we can. Oh, sorry. As you can see, we can upload the file. Sorry, my bad. So, however, even though we can upload the file onto the directory, however, we are living in the log directory. We cannot access from the public. Okay, or in other words, we cannot exploit this file. For example, if we, although we can upload like a malicious file, like a reverse PHP file, however, we cannot access such a file. Okay, so maybe now we just exit from the current session of Samba. Next, we can change the directory or share to the user. And however, although we got the anonymous login successful message, however, when tries to get the tree of the files or directories and get this error, access denied. Okay, so next we can use enum for Linux to emulate the Samba service. In most cases, I use this utility to retrieve the username information. Although this utility can give us a lot of information, output includes the share information by the target. Okay. So also here, we also need to check whether we can copy and similarly this one. Sometimes because of a misconfiguration, we can utilize the vulnerability of the fourth and the fifth point. Okay, but here we cannot utilize this point. As you can see, it's done. And identify one normal user we can copy. So identified username is this one. And now we can go ahead to, okay, this one, NFS service. So how to emulate the NFS service? We can use the utility show. So NFS enumeration. We can use show mount with option of E to see whether there are some shares by the target similar to the Samba. And if the target machine has a share, and then we can use the mount with the T option NFS, and then we can mount the remote share onto our own machine or on the Kali Linux. Okay, so this is what we can do with the NFS service. So let me show you in practice. So how to do show mount? Yeah, we got this one, SMB data. So next we can I think we can create the directory locally, and then we can sudo mount with the T option and FS. SMB data. So mount it to share. So however, we got the access denied error message, which is fine. So next we can proceed to the next port number 2121. Okay, so we can use. And first of all, I need to check whether this surface is vulnerable or not. We can copy. Oh, sorry, what I'm doing. And we can copy. And then we can use such as point and paste over here. It does has some vulnerability, mod copy vulnerability. You know, this vulnerability allow us to, or allow hacker to copy the file from the source to the destination. Even Metasploit has a module, and we can check to use this vulnerability. If you have already been very familiar with my channel, you know that I'm not just demonstrate the walkthrough. I'd like to show you the actual or the real process of the penetration. Okay, so we can search Pro FTPD, and we can use this module, and we can copy, and we can paste over here, and then we can maybe we can show options. We can use this payload, and we can set localhost to our Kali Linux, set local port number to 555, and also we can set a remote host to, you know, our target. And we need to show options again to see which else should be configured. Okay, this port number, and set remote port number FTP to 2121. And I think we have already configured every required option, so then we can run it. However, we got the exploit, although it's connected to FTP server, sending copy command to FTP server. However, directly not writable. Maybe we can change the site path to HTML and run it again. So we got the same error, and we can exit from the Metasploit console. So how to do? I think so far we have already made emulation for all file servers. So now we come to the 80 port number. Let's launch our browser to do the manual emulation first for this application. Press enter. Very simple page, and we can check its source code. Although this link would be led us to the internet because I configure the target machine as host only, so this will not be done. Okay. Oh, it's done because this is connect from the client. Okay. So anyway, next we can check whether this site has robots file available or not, and then no, not found. Next we can launch the Nikto to do the automatic emulation, and it can give us the banner information and also some sorts of a header, and even this might be interesting, found the readme file, and we can access by the browser. And my password is this one, so very important information, right? So we can paste over here, and just now we have already found the username already, right? So here. So maybe, of course, at this moment we don't know this password is used by which service is using this password. Okay, and so before we try that, I'd like to launch the directory enumeration. And with GoBuster, in case we miss something important like README. And of course, in this case, I don't think we can find anything else in terms of the valuable directories or files. To save time of this video, I'd like to interrupt it here. So how to do? Maybe this we have already got the username and password. So then we can SSH to the target, right? And the password, yes, accept. However, we got the permission denied. So this target just accepts the public key authentication. So this means this doesn't work. Okay, so how to do? And so how to do? Next, maybe we can. This password is also used by the FTP service. Let's connect to the target, and this time the username is SMB user, and password we can copy from where, and we can copy from my notebook, and we can paste over here. It does work, right? And it looks like we are within the home directory of the current user, and I think we can create the directory and upload the file. For example, we can create the SSH directory, and we can navigate into this directory, and then I think we can create the key pairs and upload the public key to this directory. So how to do? We can use SSH key, and of course I'd like to print out the current working directory, and then we can use SSH key, and I want to save the key pairs on this working directory. We can copy the absolute path and followed by the name of the private key, no passphrase. As you can see, now we have already created the key pairs, and I want to, create or copy the public key to the authorized file. Next, we can upload this authorized file, put authorized, and then I think we can use the SSH to connect to SSH to the target via private key. And as you can see, it does work. And then now we can make a local enumeration, history, nothing there, and we can go to the home directory, no other users. We have already know this, right? And next we can navigate to OPT directory and download. I don't think we can find anything important from this Pro FTP directory. And now we can go to the var, go to the www directory, go to the CGI bin, nothing there, go to HTML directory, and so nothing. Okay, so next I think we can navigate to temp directory, and then we can upload the NinPairs shell script. So in order to upload this script or this file to the target, I'd like to take the easiest way, which is to set up the web server. By Python, and it's done. And now we can use wget IP address of the Kali Linux NinPairs. And in order to run it, we need to make it executable, and then we can run it. The kernel is a bit old, so I think we can find the kernel based exploit. Okay, it's done, and then we can scroll up. A lot of output by the NinPairs shell script, so I like it very much. When we use the manual way to enumerate, very possibly we will miss something important, right? The capabilities for the libraries, for the binaries, SUID bit, Okay, active port number, cron job information, process information. A lot of, I think the Limpia shell script has already found so many kernel-based exploit because the kernel, after all, is very old. Okay, even the dedicount. But before I try to utilize the kernel-based exploit manually, I'd like to try to use Metasploit combined with the Metapreter. Okay, so first of all, I think we need to upload the current shell to the Metapreter, and to do that, we need to create or generate the payload with MS-Vellum, and I'd like to autocomplete this command. So this should be the payload name and or the relative path of the payload, and we need to configure some options. Okay, so now we can hit enter. All right, the payload has been successfully created. Next, we can launch the Metasploit console. In the meantime, we can upload this payload to the target. We can use wget to do that, no problem. Nimpiers. Oh, sorry, not Nimpiers, met EOF, and we can make it executable. Before I hit enter to execute this payload, I need to set up the handler first. So we can use exploit multi-handler, and then we need to set a payload. This payload has to be the same as this one when we create the payload with the MS-Vellum, and we can paste over here, and then we can show options. We need to set a local host to our Kali Linux, and we need to set a local port number. This port number also must be the same as this one, okay, 666. And then we can just run it, and the handler should be started. Okay, so now we can execute the payload. As you can see, we successfully retrieved the Metapreter or upgrade to the Metapreter session, and then we can we can background this Metapreter by pressing keys on the keyboard, Control and Z, and yes, and we can search the suggester module, and we can use this module. We can copy the relative path of this module, local exploit suggester, and then we can show options. The earliest option we need to configure or set is a session number, and then we can run it. And then this module is trying to collect local exploit for the target. And after that, he will do some checks. So running check method for collected exploit. Okay, it's vulnerable. I think we can make use of this exploit for our purpose, to elevate privilege to root user or super user. Okay. Anyway, we can give some sweet time to finish, and then we can proceed. Or maybe now we can copy. Alternatively, we can utilize the kernel-based exploit manually. But I always prefer Metasploit. Oh, sorry, I think we need to use the command use, and then we can show options. We need to set local host to our Kali Linux, and the port number should be the available or free port number on the Kali Linux. And we need to set the session number to 1, and then we can run it to see whether we can successfully elevate our privilege to root user. It looks like it's working perfectly, okay? Okay, wonderful. MetaPreta session 2 opened, and this MetaPreta session should be owned by root user. And then we can run command shell to get the shell session. We can run ID, and as you can see, we are root user. We can navigate to root directory, and then we can grab the root flag without any issue. So that's all I'd like to do in this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Have a nice day, please.